Hello and welcome back. No, this is not my funny hat. This is my gentleman's hat because today I have some classic meters. And when I say classics, this is from the UK. It is the AVO meters. They are very famous, and people also abuse them by putting a smiley, putting a light, but we're not gonna do that today, of course. Not in this room. No, and a few weeks ago, I already had one of the classic meters from the USSR, and well, today we have the UK. So let's zoom in a bit. Yes, and here they are. And from the big AVO, this one and this one, I have two models. This is the Model 7 Mark II, and here is the 9 Mark II. And if I'm correct, the 9 Mark II is actually the same as the 8 Mark II, but this is the international version. And so some of the signings are made more international. So in those days, they started already to have some negotiation about how a meter should look like. So wherever you come from, you understand the meter a lot better. And that does make sense, but I zoom in on that later. Um, Here we have an AC transformer. It is not exactly like a shunt, but it only works for AC. And I think this can go up to, if I see correct, it is really old. I think it says 50 amps. So we see later what that exactly is. So the 7 Mark II, the 9 Mark II, and here we have one that is the Multiminor, and I really like the name. What I thought of. I zoom in also on that later. A little bit about the material. You see these a lot in the old age, and I think it's called bakelite if you internationally. And it actually was it was invented by a guy. I think it was Bakeland. He lived in Belgium and later he moved to New York. And it's kind of a cast. Uh, I think it's a mix of epoxy and something else. And because of the isolation value, insulation value, it yeah, it is used a lot. You can find it in fuse boxes in your house. You can find it anywhere. But invented by Mr. Bakeland, sorry, Belgian guy, moved to New York later. Well, if we have a look at this one, the Model 7 Mark II, it actually looks quite modern, and they started building this type in the 50s, 52 and later, but it already looks very nice, I must say. And if you put it here to DC, then you have here the DC switch, and then this is the voltage, and this is the amps. So this switch tells you to go to this switch. In the start, it could be a bit confusing, and if you go to the AC, the DC switch is set to AC, so then you go to AC. If you want to measure AC volts, these are amps. You go to here. So, and it looks quite cool. And also, what I saw is that they have here power decibels and capacity. And I think they started to do that in the later models of the Mark II. They added here these connectors here. And yeah, the scale is well different from what we would have now because it goes to 100 and this one goes to 400. So it's a 400 scale or 1,000. And so it's 4, 10, 4, 10. Well, here we have a later model. This is the 9 Mark II, and as I said, this is like the Model 8, but then internationally. And how is it internationally? Well, they used for the scales is what we use now, or if you still use analog, and that is instead of doing 2.5 and 10 or 4 and 10, they use the 3 and 10, which is for me also more easy to understand if you look at the scale. Because if you are on the 3 scale and you're watching at 1, goes to 1/3, and somehow it feels better than the 2.5 scale or the 4 scale. I don't know why. Maybe because the first meters that I used when I was young already had this. Because this meter they started build this one in the late 60s. Started at 64. This is maybe a little bit of a later model because it yeah, it looks still good. Well, just like the meters need some cleaning, also this transformer needs cleaning. I also need to look for exactly how I need to use it. They put it on wood instead of plastic that we would do now. And well, as you can see, with the huge nuts, this can take some current. And then, well, you have a little bit of current out. So yeah, it's really for high currents because this one goes. How much amps could this one do? Well, they say 25 amps, which is a lot. I don't believe that, to be honest. No, 10 amps, yeah. Okay, 10 amps. And this one also 10 amps. So if you need to go a lot higher, you use the transformer. And then we have the very nice Multiminor. I like the name. And I think the box is original. I'm not sure because I have seen pictures that it also says AVO on the case, and I don't see that here. But it is a very good fit. So, or it's later custom made, or it is indeed the original. It even has its original plugs. Look at this. It is all rusty and the rubber is almost gone. But it's so cool that it is still in. And I was a bit confused trying to find out what was the model, because if I look at the pictures, it could be either a Model 1 or a Model 4. But let me zoom in. It doesn't say what model it is. So then it could be the first one, because in the first one you don't worry about, because it is the Multiminor, and later you say it's a Mark II or 3 or 4. And then I took it out of the box. Then I took it out of the box, and then I found the manual. And it's the original one, so that is also very nice. And here it says Mark IV. So then it started to confuse me. But if you look here, the Mark IV has a different color. And well, a color could also be the picture. But I found also, and really that's a great source, the RichardRadios. I found most of the information there. I will put a link in the bottom, and Richard, thank you very much, because that was very useful. And later I find out it was not. Oh, it's even in German, and this is Italian, I think, even. So it is in multiple languages with the schematic. But later I found out it's a Mark 1, and it's very simple because the 5, there is also a Mark 5. So I only seen pictures for Mark 1, the Mark 4, and the 5, and the 5 just looks completely different, even kind of ugly. And this one comes from 85. And the Mark IV they started producing into 64 up to the 70s. But the main thing, and I got that from RichardRadios, is you can see if the ohms are in the top, then you have a Mark 1, and if the ohms are in the bottom, then you actually have a Mark 2. So this is a Mark 1. So it is old. As you can see, they all need cleaning. I'm not going to do that today, but I just want to show you every time meters from different countries. And yeah, that was just a very quick one, just to show you. Yeah, I want to show every time another country who made meters in that time. Most of them are all in bakelite like this, or with the metal casing in the back, but the front is all again the bakelite, kind of the epoxy. And so I already did from the USSR. Now we have the UK, and later I have Germany, Netherlands, Japan, and France. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.